What's going on, guys? Bullish290 coming at you with another video. You guys obviously saw the title and know this video is going to be about. Uh, as I'm recording this, it's the day after, so overreaction Monday and whatnot. But I've kind of had time to think about this for a little bit. Hold on. It's cold. I've been thinking about this one for a bit. At least 24 hours. Or, I guess a little bit less, because, counting sleep. And, if you guys have no clue what I'm talking about, I'm a Chiefs fan. Alright, you might be able to tell that, through the clips playing in the background right now, in the intro. Right, I made a whole new intro for just Chiefs videos, and yesterday was February 7th. Yeah, date to remember. The Chiefs lost in Tampa Bay against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady. So it was like, what, 9-30 something. No touchdowns were scored, and it's just heartbreaking, really. It's just it was rough, guys. It's really really hard just to watch. I was pumped all week. I was a little nervous, but I was more excited. I was more excited than last year. I was really nervous last year, just because I've only watched, like, the only championship team I've watched, like, in Kansas City were the Royals, right? And, like, I gotta watch them that year, but the World Series. I mean, yeah, I was a little nervous, but, like, I don't watch baseball as much as I do football. I love football so much. Right, I don't just watch Chiefs games. I watch, like, any game that's on. But I obviously pay way more attention than Chiefs game. I even watched, like, what was it, like, the Dolphins Jags game, that Thursday night primetime game this year. I'll watch all sorts of shit of football. Like, I loved the XFL and all that shit, and I really hope they bring that back this spring. And they're doing some sort of new league where you call plays, like the fans call plays or whatever. I can't remember what it's called, but it's supposed to have Johnny Manziel in it. Anyway, on to what this video is about. It's heartbreaking, to watch your team be really successful and then go to the big stage and get shut out. It's awful to watch, right? All week there was talks about the offensive line and this, daunted defensive line. I'm like, I wasn't, Shaq Barrett, really good outside rusher, right? Ndamukong Suh, Vita Vea, really good inside guys. The only guy I wasn't really worried about was Jason Pierre-Paul. He started flapping his lips and all this shit, and I really wanted to go out and beat the Bucs just because they were just so damn cocky about it. Mostly defensive line, right? Not just, okay, not all it was Jason Pierre-Paul, right? Dude went on and on, like, yeah, he's playing against backups, and it's like one of the in his press conference, someone asked him, like, have you watching tape on Mike Rimmers and whatnot, which was the guy he's going against, and he's like, who? Like, I didn't even know that was an offensive lineman until you guys said something, right? So, like, that that kind of made me a little angry, and I was pretty excited for the rest, the game and shit like that. And watching, I was like, all right, defense, gotta stop. We go on the field, we don't really do much, and that's just how it was the whole game. And I will say this, like before, I'll talk about the offense, defense, and I'll talk about, what every other Chiefs fan is getting bashed for and whatnot. Offensive line was terrible. The only guy who was locked in, it seemed like, was Patrick Mahomes yesterday. And, Travis Kelce for a little bit, but Travis Kelce dropped some easy fucking catches. Right? And, like, yeah, you see that from time to time from Travis Kelce in the big stage. He did it last year in, the divisional round against the Texans. He did that early, but, he came back. He scored, like, 4 touchdowns in the game. In the second quarter, I'm pretty sure that was legit all to Kelce. Actually, maybe it's 3. And then I think it's 1 to Damian Williams on like a wheel route. So Kelce, he did have a pretty good game. But Patrick, dude, he ran almost 500 yards just running away from defenders because these terrible ass offensive linemen. I understand they're backups. Some of them aren't. Some of them are not backups. Like Austin Ryder, that dude is the starting center, right? I mean, and Andrew Wiley was the starting guard. Nick Allegretti was starting at guard. The only dudes that weren't, Wiley never started at tackle. Actually, no, I take that back. He did start at tackle. He started at right tackle against the Saints, and he still did pretty good then. But Rimmers at left tackle was just terrible. And, I always held like a grudge against Eric Fisher, and I was kind of surprised he made the Pro Bowl this year. But I've always held that grudge against him for the Steelers game, for that holding call, because I was just so upset, and that really upset that game. That game upset me so much because they beat us by field goals. It was just the most. Anyway, some of these games were just so frustrating. But the Pittsburgh Steelers game, Titans game, the Colts game, and like 2012, 2013, But this game, it was just awful. It was the Buccaneers had a number, really. They had a game plan, perfectly executed it. And we should have ran the ball a little bit more, to be honest with you. We had some pretty good success with run plays in the middle of the game, but we did it too late, right? And it was awful. And I wake up this morning to just a ton of Mahomes slander, and I'm sick of it, right? I understand a lot of people don't like us because, they think we get a shitload of calls and whatnot, and I'll get to calls later. But, there are a lot of teams that get the most bullshit calls, and there are a lot of teams that just get away with it, right? Sometimes we're just there in the crossbar. It's not like we ask for bad officiating. No one asked for bad officiating. Alright? It's just some of these refs are so terrible. Right? And I'm not gonna talk about last night's game, right? The calls right now. I'm gonna get to it, but I'm not gonna talk about it right now. I gotta get, but it's just. Anyways, offensive line was terrible. Wide receivers and running backs. I mean, Clyde had a pretty good game, right? When he got the ball, he did pretty good. And Gabe, I hope you're watching this because Darrell Williams had a first down, possibly touchdown in his hands, and that's the play where Patrick Mahomes is legit lateral at the ground, throws the ball 30 yards right in his face mask, hits him, and he drops it. All right, Gabe. So I hope you're watching this. because he's been saying that we should have never drafted Clyde. That Darrell Williams is just a average Clyde Edwards-Helaire, right? Hey Gabe, pretty sure Clyde would have caught that. He's want to know something? He was a pass-catching running back. So fuck off, right? Demarcus Robinson legit caught a one-handed pass last year. And you're telling me can't, in the biggest fucking stage, you can't catch a ball. I know Mahomes put it up a little too high, but it's still a catchable ball. And, you know, he drops that one. Byron Pringle, I can't even be mad about that one, because legit, like, most of the ball was out of bounds. That was going to be a really hard one to catch, right? So, and Byron Pringle's in my good graces, right? So, I mean, I can't be too mad at him, right? He's an undrafted free agent. So, and the dude's been balling out since he got here. Like, under the radar, underrated receiver. And I think he should get more playing time next year. Now we'll go on to the defense. Defense played good first half, except towards the end of the first half. Got a little chippy. There were some, you know, like, dumbass moments from some of the players. But, you know, defense played as good as I think, you know, the running kind of killed us towards the end, but I understand, because when you're on the Chiefs, you don't really expect the defense to be out there for, like, can't remember how, like, 34 minutes or some shit like that, however long the Buccaneers, I almost call them the Patriots, however long the Buccaneers had the football, like, they had it for a long-ass time. So, yeah, they really got the possession of time going in their favor. And the defense was on the field for so long, they were just gassed at one point. And, you know, it's kind of hard to try and stop the Buccaneers when you're down there trying to breathe for air and all that shit. So, and they're gassed and they're tired, but there are a couple players that did not have a good game, and who have not had a great season, and I'll get to them, because obviously we're going to be talking about the off-season too, but I'll get to that after this part, after, you know, special teams, right? Tommy Townsend really disappointed me last night, right? This dude is like, he's going to be one of my, you know, I was warming up to him, right? Because, you know, Dustin Colquitt has been my punter for almost my whole life, right? Not my entire life, because I was born in '02. Okay, so basically, like, my whole time I've been a Chiefs fan. Dustin Colquitt, you know, has been my punter. This is our first year without him, right? Great dude. I actually got to meet him once. Really nice guy. Has a really nice beard too. But anyway, really nice guy. Really good punter. And, you know, Tommy Townsend in there to replace him. Dude did not have a good game, right? And I understand also, like, when you're also a punter for the Chiefs, you don't get out there a lot to punt, right? You don't get a lot of practice punting in real games because it hardly fucking happens, and especially in the Super Bowl. And, you know, we had like multiple 3-and-outs where he had to go punt. I'm sure he wasn't expecting that, and he wasn't expecting to go out there and punt like 5 times. But damn, dude, 29-yard punt. It's just disappointing. Alright, the only Harrison Butker, dude, that man is a real man right there. I started to get a little worried about him towards the end, like the middle end of the season, because he was missing easy ass kicks. Well, no, it was more PATs. He did it in the Browns game too. Scared the shit out of me. But he figured it out. Hit from like 56 at one point, and he's the only dude that scored in the Super Bowl. That's crazy. I'm sure he was not happy about that because obviously, unless if you're playing against the old like 2016 Chiefs in the fucking divisional round, then you're not doing that shit. So anyway, that's not about them. There's a wild card. Whatever the fucking game we played the Steelers. That I don't even want to think about it. Fucking. Anyway. Other than that, we need to take Nico off returns because he's just not good at returning anymore. I don't know what the fuck. And some of the punts by the Buccaneers punter were just like they got really good bounces towards us. And a lot of people are like, oh, this punter for the Buccaneers is bad. Like, no. Sometimes the ball just bounces the absolute dumb, like, the worst way for your team. No one knows why, but, he did a pretty good job, at least. And, the Buccaneers offense obviously was good enough. Buccaneers defense was really good. And their special team's pretty good. So now, I'll get on to all the stuff that everyone's going to be talking about. So first off, what I want to touch up on is Antoine Winfield. This dude is like a little fucking Jonathan Abram Jr. little shit, right? I understand. You might be a little upset from the last time we played you. Tyreek burnt your ass. But you're throwing up the deuces. Like, dude, I never heard your name called in that damn game. And you're throwing up the deuces in front of his face. Right? Like, I never heard your name fucking called in the game until you did that shit. Right? And I didn't even hear your name get called in week 12 when we fucking played you. I understand you're a pretty good safety. Your dad was a really good corner. But, dude, I really hope we get to play you guys again. Because Tyreek's going to burn your ass. He's going to make you... Like, the only reason why you didn't get burnt is because you have a 15-yard head start. You guys were back there deep. And if you guys watch, right, those safeties were back deep. Because they did not want to get burnt over top again like they were week 12 when Tyreek had 200 yards on their ass in the first quarter. Right? Antoine Winfield Jr., right? I had respect for you most of the season. I thought you were pretty good. I thought you were a pretty good guy. Then you turn around and go do that shit. What? It's just... Alright, you won already. That's kicking a dude while he's down. Just like what Jim Nance said. Just take your fucking win, walk off the field. Because you guys double teamed them all night. What else? I mean, like, yeah, it's gonna be easy when you have help. But, it's whatever. Right? On to the next thing, the whole Tyrann Mathieu Tom Brady thing. And I'm fucking sick of Chiefs fans saying, oh, he lost his cool. Worst game to lose his cool, whatnot. He's $17 million cap hit for next year. There's no way we're cutting him, okay? He's the leader of the defense. Great player. All-pro player. Pro Bowl player. We're not getting rid of Tyrann Mathieu. Tyrann Mathieu is one of the best safeties to be in Kansas City. Obviously Eric Berry. But, you know, Tyrann Mathieu was a great free agent pickup. And for anyone saying, you know, any Chiefs fan saying that we should get rid of him, should just not be in the fan base anymore. And I'm just hearing so much slander. Not even outside of the kingdom. Like, some people are from the inside. You know, Chris Jones, you know, hearing people say Chris Jones overpaid. You know how many times Chris Jones is double teamed? About almost every snap. And when he isn't, he's getting pressure. Frank Clark, yes, he didn't have a good year this year, alright? But dude's on contract for another good couple years. He had a really good year last year. I don't know why he didn't play as well this year, but he still had a pretty good year this year. Not a great year like he did last year, right? But he still had some pretty clutch plays. Even last night, he played pretty well. He read a really great reverse by Scotty Miller. You know, fastest wide receiver in the NFL. That's something that should be said. You know, Tyreek Hill would not lose 5 yards on a fucking reverse. He would at least get back to the line of scrimmage. Scotty Miller got his ass met in the backfield by Frank Clark. So, you know, but happy you got a Super Bowl ring, Scotty. Still not the fastest player, but you got a Super Bowl ring. And anyway, you know, Tyrann Mathieu, the whole Tom Brady thing. I don't know what Tom Brady said, and I'll get to the penalties here in a minute. But Tom Brady, I'll say this: Tom Brady walked over to Tyrann Mathieu, but that's whatever. Obviously, it's something not good because Tyrann Mathieu tweeted something out about how he respected Tom Brady before then, and he's, you know, in good graces and whatnot. So, and Tom Brady had to text an apology to Tyrann Mathieu, so it had to be something not good. And with that, you know, I've heard people say something about, you know, Tom Brady is a Trump supporter and all this shit, and that's a whole nother can of beans. So, and I don't get political, and especially on my videos, so I'm not getting too far into that. But I'd say if that had to do anything with it, then it was not a very good word, at least what he said. It was almost like a Myles Garrett, Mason Rudolph word situation, if you know what I mean. So yeah. Okay. Here we go. Now, when I say all these things about the penalties, I want to say this before I talk about them. It is not, I will say, it is not the reason why we lost. Okay, we lost because we couldn't put points on the board. And our defense couldn't get that many stops to help out our offense, which is crazy to say. So just keep that in mind when I'm talking about these penalties. With that being said, Carl Cheffers, or whatever the fuck the guy's name is, the head official, his crew needs to be evaluated this offseason, because it's not just the Super Bowl. His crew has been, I think, one of the worst crews in all of the NFL. And I'm sure, like, Packers fans would totally back me up on this, and I know some of you are like, oh, well, it's Packer fans, they lost to the Buccaneers also. Yeah, you're right. But what I saw when I watched the NFC Championship game were blatant holding calls. Then, like, those were obvious fucking calls, and they never called them. So, they let him play until the very end of the game, and then it got all wishy-washy and whatever. Uh, Carlos Shepard's crew, whatever the fuck the guy's name is, I don't even fucking care enough. He'll you know, if it's anything like the Titans dude, he might fucking retire. That shit was sketchy, alright? I hate that game with a passion. And if you guys ever want to hear me talk about, I will talk about that game. No fucking doubt, I will. Yeah, but, you know, Gabe likes to say that our defense is the reason why we lost that game. Well, no, our defense allowed, you know, like 22 points. That's not bad. Just our offense couldn't get going after the Titans' dirty-ass fucking hit on Kelsey. But besides the point, this crew was terrible. This crew was really one-sided most of the night. And I know you're thinking, oh, well, you guys were holding most of the night. You know, yeah. Okay, yeah. We did have a couple bad holding. Like, straight up holding. But, okay, the one that really comes to mind is there's a tipped ball and it gets intercepted and it's negated by holding. That hold was after the ball was tipped, so you can do that. And besides, the ball is nowhere near that receiver, but they call holding. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Right there. We had a penalty taken away from us, or a takeaway taken away from us because of a dumb penalty against Tom Brady. Sounds familiar to me, but you know, it's whatever, I guess. And all year it's, you know, like, oh well, the Chiefs of course wouldn't get those calls. Yeah. Get. You know, I look at last night and I know there are some teams who always get fucked over. And they're like, oh, you know, well, you know, this team always gets the call and this team doesn't. And sometimes it just works out that way. Right? Patriots seems like when they had Tom Brady, fucking would do that shit all the time. Like, it would just happen. So, yeah, some of the holding calls are starting to get ridiculous. I think the Buccaneers only had 1, 2, 3, maybe, actually, 3 penalties, I think, maybe, can't remember. I know they had like 1 penalty and a half, and we had 8 or 9 for 90-some yards. 2 pass interference calls. Both were ridiculous. I wish pass interference was still reviewable. They shouldn't have taken that rule out. It is the most ridiculous fucking thing ever. Because you watch Mike Evans, that ball was not catchable. And he straight up tripped. And it wasn't even Bashaud Breeland. But I'll get to Bashaud Breeland later and all of them. It wasn't even Bashaud Breeland's fault. Mike Evans straight up just tripped on air. Alright, and then you got the one in the back, in the end zone, that put him at the 1-yard line. That shit is fucking ridiculous. That ball was going into the stands. The fucking cameraman could have caught that ball. But no. It's pass interference. I think these refs need to relearn the rule book. Something needs to happen. There needs to be some action taken against this crew. Because what happened last night, and I'm not saying it's the reason why we lost, but it's still ridiculous. Because none of, like, the 3 flags I pointed out should never been thrown. Then you have, okay, there's a 4th, the taunting, or the unsportsmanlike conduct against Tyrann Mathieu. When Tom Brady walked his little white ass over and started talking to Tom Brady, and it's on Tyrann Mathieu, and Tyrann Mathieu didn't even throw a punch or anything, and he got a flag thrown. That's ridiculous. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of. That should never happen. But the crew needs to get looked at. Like Roger Goodell, whoever the fucking, I can't remember who the head of officiating is. All I know is like some scumbag ass name. Legit. I'm getting sick of it, right? And there needs to be something done about these refs in the NFL, because last night they tried to make it all about him. Alberto Riveron. That dude needs to be fired. Carl Sheffer's crew needs to be looked at hard, like just a hard microscope, under the fucking microscope. Because I'm sick of these guys. I'm sick of games being decided because of these dumbass fucking officials who don't know how to get out of the way. Okay, sorry. I said the game decided. It wasn't decided, but it was heavily swayed. Okay, I'll say that. Mediumly. That's fair. Medium. How's that? Okay? Can you agree with that? Alright. So, that's my wrap up with the Super Bowl right there. Now, on to everyone's favorite time of year. I love this time of year because there's so much going on, you know, all the storylines. You know, who will go where, who might get traded, yada yada yada, draft, all this shit. I love the off season so much. I just, you know, I wish it was like more active every year, right? Because it's just so exciting, and like everyone gets hyped for the football season. It just sucks like you have to wait till September to get football again. You know, we have to wait till this time next year to see a Super Bowl and the playoffs and all that stuff. But for the Chiefs off season, first of all, I want to go through some free agents and who I think should get signed, who I don't think should get signed, yada yada yada. Darren Williams, yes, he should get re-signed. Okay, he's a really good, solid backup running back. I liked him for a while. I liked him last year. Really physical runner. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Spencer Ware. Just a little bit more like tougher and physical. Le'Veon Bell. Big name running back. We don't really need him. Didn't really play all that much. I didn't even see him all this year. The Saints game, I think, was the most I ever, like, the Saints and the Broncos game was the most I ever saw Le'Veon Bell. Other than that, didn't really show up. I don't think we should re-sign Le'Veon Bell. You know, let him go somewhere else. Ring chase. You know, not a really as great running back as he was with the Steelers. Anthony Sherman, yes. Alright. Part of me is it's an emotional attachment because I love the sausage. I love, you know, some people call him the Shermanator, but, you know, as most of the people here are, you know, in the kingdom, know him as the sausage. That's why that one play to him was like the cooked sausage. So, Anthony Sherman, great blocker, great pass catching fullback, which is kind of nuts, and a pretty good special teamer. Really good veteran. I think he should stay. Byron Pringle, yes, also another great dude. You know, he can be a really good receiver if he gets the chance. Great, obviously, a really good special teams player. Great returner. I think we should keep him. Demarcus Robinson. Now, if you asked me this last year, I'd say yeah, hell yeah. You know, had a really great season. This year, he really pissed me off. doing this little run sideways shit, really pissing me off. And he didn't really have a great, I mean, he had an okay year, but I think it's DeMarcus Robinson's time to go, right? It was fun while it lasted. I liked him last year. He's had a decent career as a Chief, but he probably should have left last year. Honestly, because he didn't really help himself this season with us. Sammy Watkins. Part of me wants him to stay, but part of me thinks he should go. He's starting to get a little bit older, a little bit slower. And, keep trying to build the Legion of Zoom here. So, yeah, Sammy Watkins, too many injury problems, only shows up in the playoffs, and he didn't really even do that this year. So, yeah. Deion Yelder, he's an okay tight end, decent blocker. Don't really see him much on the field. I don't think we should re-sign him. You can get a different guy for cheaper. So, Ricky Seals-Jones, kind of the same thing, Deion Yelder. Austin Ryder, I think just with how, things are going in the off-season, or, how in, cap space and stuff, or in depth, maybe you resign him, just as, a backup. So, I don't know. Daniel Kilgore, he's in his 30s. I don't know, I think you let him go. Andrew Wiley, I don't know, maybe a 1-year contract. Steven Winooski, probably let him walk again. Kelechi Osemele, if you get the chance, resign him. Okay, really great guard. Really helped out the run game towards the beginning of the season. Really bummed that he got injured so quickly, because he had a pretty good year before he got injured. Definitely would have helped us last night. So I say resign him. K-Pass, Tano Passanio, hasn't really showed much as when it goes to pass rushing, and he is an edge player. Not really dynamic in one thing or the other when it comes to pass game or the run game. He's just an okay player. Was the second pick in the 2017 NFL draft, or the second round pick by us. I don't know. I think you let him walk. Taco Charlton, I mean, if you get the chance, he didn't really play all this much this year. At least give him a shot for next year, a 1-year contract. This dude was a first-round pick. So, who knows? He might be able to develop with Frank Clark or something. Then again, maybe could develop some younger players in my mock draft that we'll get to after this. Mike Pennell. I love Mike Pennell. Road grader, right? But dude's getting up there in age. I don't know. Oh yeah, sorry. Andrew Wiley, Byron Pringle, Darrell Williams, and Deion Yelder are all restricted free agents. Decided to say that. Oh, and Ben Neiman and Charvier's word, but I'll get to Ben Neiman in 1 second. Mike Pennell, as much as it pains me, great run stuffer. I think we should let him go. Ben Neiman. God, fucking Ben Neiman. I hate this guy. I hate this guy so much. He sucks. He's not good at anything. This dude should not be able to play football. The fact that he's able to play football should be a crime. He should get arrested on the spot in the middle of the football field. He should be like that streaker from last night in the fucking Super Bowl. Tackled by the fucking security guard for playing football. Arrest that man and make him pay the police for playing football. This guy is a criminal for stealing money from the Chiefs organization. With that being said, I'm sure you guys already know my decision. Get rid of Ben Neiman's ass. We should have got rid of him last year. Ben Neiman sucks air. That's always good for, is wasting air in this fucking Chiefs defense. He's a cardboard box just standing in the middle of the field. And I'm sure when any quarterback goes on in the field, And they're like, oh, look, it's Ben Neiman, the white liability. I've been calling him that all season. You wanna know why? Because he is a fucking liability in the middle of the field. You could throw at that man 50 times a game the same damn route, and his dumbass wouldn't even know what to do. He would just stand there like a box of rocks. So yeah, get rid of Ben Neiman's ass. I'm sick of him. Damian Wilson. Pretty good linebacker. Plays outside mostly. But now we have Willie Gay, who I think definitely needs to start, right? I thought he should have started like week 8. You know, in there towards the middle of the season. But he never did. Towards the end of, at least towards the end of the season, had an injury. And then played for the rest of the season. So Damian Wilson, maybe like a 1-year contract or something. Charvarius Ward, I like Charvarius Ward, pretty good player. Still needs a little bit of growth, I think. He had a really good year last year. Didn't have as good year this year. Kind of got burnt most of the time. But you know, I think he'll bounce back this season. He is a restricted free agent. Bashad Breeland. I'm sick of this dude. I'm so sick of this dude. Okay, breezy Bashad Breeland. Yeah, he was pretty good last year too. Don't know if he like just fell off a cliff this year or something. He's getting burnt pretty worse than Orlando Scandrick did. Actually, that's a little too far. My bad. Okay, he got burnt quite a bit. Did not play good at all last night. And he's been doing that holding shit all fucking year. And he did it some last year too. I just, you know, and Bashad Breeland really pissed me off before he came to the Chiefs because he's like, oh, you know, I might come to the Chiefs. And then he went to the Packers. And then he did the same shit like in the offseason. He's like, oh, you know, I might resign with the Packers. And he signed with the Chiefs. And I was like, oh, yeah. Just for him to, you know, he played one good season. And that was the Super Bowl run. Bashad Breeland hasn't really played all that well. He had all that off-season trouble last year. I don't think it's worth it. Cut him. Get rid of him. Don't re-sign him. Tony Hamilton, great special teams player, but that's all he really is. We don't really need him. So I just say walk. Daniel Sorensen, yeah, sure, sign him to a contract. He's played pretty good. You know, did have a good postseason. I mean, yeah, he forced a fumble against the Browns, but we all know what everyone thinks about that. Other than that play, didn't really have a good postseason this year, unlike last year. So yeah. Huh. That's funny. Just saw something about Russell Wilson's agency and all that shit's upset that they won't get him an offensive line. Just I thought that was funny. I'm sure Seahawks fans feel the same way. Anyway, yeah, Daniel Sorensen, definitely. And you know, we can put some franchise tags on some guys if we want to, but you know. Now on to my my mock draft, and this is not, you know, pending on whatever free agents we sign or whatever, because obviously I'm not gonna know that. This is just, you know, some shots in the dark, and I'll give up some you know, guys I think we should still chase in free agency, but you know, this is my ideal draft right now. At 31, I think we need to take Alex Leatherwood. Mitchell Schwartz, up there in age, I don't know how long he's going to be playing with us. Especially, he was injured most of the season. So it'd be nice to have a young guy at least. And if he, you know, it's fine if Alex Leatherwood doesn't start right away. I think it'd be best for him to sit for a year or something. Because he's just, you know, kind of gets blown by easily sometimes. But, you know, he's been pretty good tackle for the Crimson Tide. At 63, a really great edge rusher I saw at the Senior Bowl, and I think that the Chiefs really need to take to be on the other side of Frank Clark is Quincy Roche. Absolute beast. I think he can ball out and play a really good role in the Chiefs defense. One big thing we need is a pass rush because we only pressure Tom Brady 5 times in the Super Bowl, and it doesn't seem like we have been generating pressure as much as we did last year. At number 94, with all the free agents I just said that we should get rid of, we have a guy come at 94 come in, hopefully make a pretty good impact right away. A little bit taller receiver than what we have now. Tylan Wallace from Oklahoma State. He's kind of he's 6 foot, but he's pretty long, like longer than me, Cole, and Tyreek. Can catch the ball pretty well, and has the home run ability. Really good with the ball in his hands after the catch. So Shakir Brown, just a corner to kind of have. Maybe we can play him outside, get rid of Bashad Breeland, bring back Charvarius Ward, have L'Jarius Sneed play on the outside. Really great corner, L'Jarius Sneed. So just have another guy there, maybe play in the slot or something. 174, another receiver, a guy who's compared to Tyreek Hill a little bit, and you kind of see it. He's a little shifty in some of his highlights. Shi Smith, really explosive with the ball in his hands. This guy, obviously a little bit developmental when it comes to, or like a development receiver in comparison to Tylan Wallace. I think Tylan Wallace is a little bit more ready to play, but Shi Smith would be a nice guy to have. Justin Hilliard at 176, linebacker. Really big need for us, at least. As linebacker, we really need people in the middle. So that kind of goes without saying. Jack Anderson, I expect him to play center, mostly. That's why I mocked him. But he can probably move around a little bit more in different places. Just kind of need a new center. I'm pretty sure Mitch Morris' contract is up. I can't remember. That'd be nice. Mitch Morris was a really good center. So yeah, Marco Wilson, another development guy. Kind of get him late here at 212, but I think he'd be a really good guy once you get him kind of developed. We got L'Jarius Sneed later in the draft, so maybe Marco Wilson can be as good. Really good at Florida. Obviously, everyone knows him for throwing in the shoe and whatnot. That kind of be cost in Florida. So anyway, that's my mock draft, and then I'll get into free agents that I think we should keep an eye on. Alright. So obviously we don't need a quarterback. We don't really need a running back. Wide receivers, who I think that could be a little bit interesting. Nelson Aguilar would be pretty interesting. Showed off some speed this year and has pretty good hands. Will Fuller would also be a pretty good guy. I'm trying to see. Curtis Samuel would also be nice. And Bashad Perriman. Tight ends, don't really need one. Offensive tackle. Trent Williams obviously would be really great, but my big guy I think we should look for is Darrell Williams from the Bills. Really great tackle. Younger than most of the guys on this list, like Trent Williams, Taylor Moton, Villanueva from the Steelers, Russell Okung. Younger and a little bit better. Kind of like a, just get something on the right side. Maybe the left side, depends on how bad Eric Fisher's Achilles is. Guards, definitely, if these guys are available, we definitely need to look at them. Brendan Sheriff, Joe Thuney, and Lane Taylor all would be really good pickups. Would not complain about getting any of them. Center, Corey Lindsley would also be a good guy. Dave Andrews, really good pickup. Alex Mack would also be a really great pickup. So, all those guys that listed definitely would be top targets. Defensive tackle, Dalvin Tomlinson's really the Sheldon Rankins, and maybe Shelby Harris are the only guys that really stick out for me. Edge rushers, Bud Dupree, Matthew Judon, Leonard Floyd, Trey Hendrickson, Justin Houston would be a nice reunion. Romeo Aquara from the Lions, and Tack McKinley. Linebackers, Matt Milano's there, maybe Levante David also. Like, if Levante David is available, definitely a good go-to. Denzel Perriman, Jayon Brown, KJ Wright. Cornerbacks, we've been talking about Pat Pete to the Chiefs for a long time, basically since Mahomes has been starting. So, if we can go get him. I know Pat Pete's a little bit older. Would be a really great pickup. Shaquille Griffin also would be really good. Quentin Dunbar, even though with all the off-season stuff, I don't know if I'd really want him, mostly because it would be a little bit more narrative about our background with our players. But, Ronald Darby, Troy Hill, yeah, that's about it. Chibude Awuzie would also be a good one. Oh, I should probably speed up a little bit. The video's about to get close to the end here. Safeties, I think we're pretty good there, but Malik Hooker would also be a really good safety to pick up. And we don't really need kickers or punters. So, with that being said, that is my big takeaway from this season. We had a really great season. Kind of bummed that this is how it ends, but all good things must come to an end at some point. So, there's always next year. I'm looking forward to this off season. And, obviously pretty bummed, but, here we go. Off-season's going to be an interesting one. Draft's going to be really interesting. Pro days are going to be a really big thing now that the combine is canceled. So, everyone watch out for pro days. Going to be really interesting to see draft stocks rise and fall. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one. And, yeah, peace out.
Yeah. I'll be here for the night, don't have to think twice. I'll be oh so nice, I have to think twice. I'll be here for the night, don't have to think twice. I'll be oh so nice, I have to think twice. Yeah. I'll be here for the night. Travel far, moving with the seasons, go to Panama, then on to Ibiza. Didn't take that long, had no time for weeping. Fingernails like claws on my clothes, you keeping. You'll store your bag, think it had a reason. Can't remember shit, but I got a feeling. Play all my songs on a blown out speaker, did we work it up? Can't remember either. Running in circles, not feeling okay. Act like imposters, we playing all day. Last night we talked all about holidays. One day we'll get all this thing, get away. For the night, don't have to think twice. I'll be oh so nice, I have to think twice. I'll be here for the night, don't have to think twice. I'll be oh so nice, I have to think twice. I'll be here.